So Rahul has started the live. Good morning, sir. So can we start?
Good morning, madam. Good morning, all.
So can we start with this session, DG sir?
Yes, please.
Thank you. A very good morning to you all. I, Anubha Chaurasia, on behalf of FIEO, welcome you all to this outreach program on upgraded eBRC system for self-certification by exporters with DGFT. To start with welcome address, I request Dr. Ajay Sahai, Director General and CEO FIEO, to give his welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anubha. Shri S.C. Agrawal, Additional DGFT, Mr. Moin Khan, Deputy DGFT, Mr. Arjun Upadhyay, Deputy DGFT, other officers from the DGFT, my colleague, Mr. Preeti Srinath, Anubha, distinguished members of the trade and industry, ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank DGFT for joining hands with FIEO for this important session on the self-generation of the eBRC. The significant number of presence at the platform shows the relevance and significance of the program. You all know that export is not considered to be completed unless the payment for the same is realized. Reserve Bank of India provides 9 months period for the export realization, except in case of export to the own warehouse, where the period has been extended to 15 months. We have seen that the central bank of the country has always monitored the export proceeds. Roughly a decade back or more than that, we used to have the express statement which was shared by the Reserve Bank of India with the DGFT offices, with the customs and the export promotion councils, which usually used to come at a lag of a year or so, and it was causing much problem for the trade industry. I think the real significant milestone in this process was made by the DGFT by Public Notice 8, when they made the system of electronic eBRC mandatory for the bank from 17th of August 2012, and then they have made it retrospective from 1st of April 2012, asking the bank that all the eBRC which have been issued between 1st of April 2012 to 16th of August 2012 may also be uploaded into the XML form. We know that DGFT has now rolled the electronic upgraded version of the eBRC, which has been performing extremely well. And we would like to compliment the DGFT, which always comes with the innovative features, which makes the life easier for the trader industry. I would like to use this opportunity to flag some of the issues which may have directly or indirectly related to the eBRC system, which will, if addressed, will make the life easier for the exporter and importers. The first issue is the having a uniform FOB value for the purpose of exports. As of now, FOB value inclusive of commission up to 12.5% the bank charges is considered as FOB value for the purpose of drawback. But the same department is not accepting this principle for computation of FOB value when it comes to the ROTTEP or ROSCTL. DGFT has a different FOB value. So on the same exports, if it is going through the drawback route, the FOB value is X. When it comes to the DGFT, the value becomes less than X. For the ROTTEP and ROCTL also, it is less than X. My request will be that for export benefit, we should have a uniform definition of the FOB value, and all the agencies who are working on that may accept that FOB value. Since the Ministry of Finance has already adopted that commission and bank charges up to 12.5% is part of the FOB value, we'll request that the same principle may be applied to all export promotion scheme, whether operated by Ministry of Finance or by the DGFT. The second issue is with regard to the facility of netting off. We compliment the DGFT, who has agreed with the Reserve Bank of India, has come with the netting off facility where exporter who is exporting to the same buyer from whom he is importing also, assuming he's exporting for $100,000 and importing for $50,000, his netting off makes it a $50,000 transactions. Banks in the eBRC are reflecting only 50,000. Though, of course, it should be $100,000 for export value, $50,000 for import value. Now, if exporter is just showing 50,000 value as a netting off, banks are asking the exporter that on the balance 50,000, you please surrender the export benefit and also regularize either through the self write-off or write-off through the Reserve Bank of India. We will request the DGFT that they should ask the bank that in case of netting off, they should now reflect both the FOB value for exports and the CIF value for imports. The third is the EDPMS. We all know that taking a clue from the eBRC, the Reserve Bank of India has developed the EDPMS module also, and now all the banks are using the EDPMS module for settling the export proceeds also. But as of now, exporters have not even the viewing facility in the EDPMS. We don't want exporter to have any other facility, but if the exporter wants to understand how much is the outstanding shipping bill, how many are there, he has to go back to the bank to get the details. If viewing facility can be provided to the exporters in the EDPMS, probably it will make the life easier for the exporters. And last, that we should have a single agency which may be a repository of all eBRC. It may be DGFT, it may be the EDPMS. So any agency, if requires the details of exports, they can ask the agencies to get it online. Right now, if for the drawback purposes, exporter has to get the details submitted to the customs. Tomorrow, when the GST payments become due, he has to provide all these details to different authority. If we have a single repository who shares all the information with all the different agencies, probably it will provide much easier comfort to the export sector. So these are some of my initial thought, and we are very keen to learn from the DGFT about this system. And once we go through the system, if we have any issue, we will definitely reflecting to DGFT. So thank you very much, sir, for this initiative. And since we can accommodate only the limited number, my request to the DGFT and Mr. Agarwal in particular is that we should repeat this program after a lag of 7 to 10 days. Thank you very much, sir.
DG sir, for your address. Now I request Shri S.C. Agarwal, who is additional DGFT, to address the participants. Over to you, sir.
Yes, done. Thank you. And hi, sir, and all the participants here, my dear colleagues. I am very happy to welcome you all here. And the address by Sahai sir has already put lots of things in perspective. DGFT over the years has been putting very strong efforts in automation, streamlining, trying to give the control to the exporters themselves for any kind of process, whatever can happen. Like just for example, a key had been for status holder certificates, where the whole process had been automated, and instead of applying and then processing at DGFT end and all, now it comes automatically. So our general effort had been in the direction of automating to make life easier for the exporter, for enhancing the EODB. So this is one of the effort in this long chain of initiatives which we are taking and which we are planning to take, so that the things become as streamlined and as easy as possible. Wherever any kind of processing or reconciliation, wherever those processes are involved, we would like, to the extent possible, to give control to the exporters so that they themselves can do, and they don't need to go here and there or correspond with different organizations to have their issues resolved, have their processes completed. Now, it's evident, and as told by Sahai sir also, that the export or incentives or benefits, whatever they be, they all depend on the realization of export proceeds. And BRC plays a very significant role in this to identify that yes, the receipts have come. Now, till now, it was kind of semi-automated that the exporter had to go to the bank, has to present the documents and all, and then has to get a certificate from the bank that it has been the proceeds has been realized, and bank also uploading those information on DGFT web portal so that it gets integrated with the licenses, schemes, and all for completing the process of the licenses, authorization, any export benefit incentives, all that gets completed that way. Now, in this initiative, we are trying to eliminate that step of going to the bank for BRC. What we are trying is to put it on the portal and let the exporter himself or herself do the processing of generating the bank realization certificate. The technical details probably Moin can explain, but this process is robust because it takes the original data, the IRMs which the banks receive, and the banks process, and then only they push the data on the portal. What exporter basically does is to link it with the shipping bill and supply any data just to link these two IRMs and the shipping bill data and to generate the BRC. Now, this gives us several advantages. One, that the frequent visit to banks is eliminated. Second, because the generation is based on the inputs, automated inputs from different organizations. So the robustness of the whole system improves because here there's no human intervention as such in reconciliation. So that's a big benefit, and it empowers exporters to the extent that now the exporter himself can do it, and he can also see all his data on one platform. So this is a benefit to the exporter. I understand that while generating BRC, some banks, they used also to charge money from the exporters. So now that payment is eliminated because the exporter is doing himself or herself. So it's to that extent, it's beneficial to the exporters. Their transaction cost gets reduced, and so their export competitiveness improves. So that's the another benefit. We have a support channel at DGFT. So if any exporter has any problem or feels any problem, this being a new system, or any stakeholder faces any problem, can always approach to our support channels and get the desired clarification, support to have this. Almost all the scheduled banks have been onboarded. All the important ones have definitely been imported. Out of 47, I think only 3 banks are still to be onboarded, but they are in the process to do it. So I understand that already more than 400 e-BRCs have already been generated by the exporters, and lakhs of IRMs have been put to the systems for exporters to now start issuing e-BRC. These 400 e-BRCs which have been generated, more than 400, did exporters find any difficulty? Did they need to approach support desk or anything?
No.
Or they could do it on their own?
This is sui generis. We don't know.
We have not got any request for any support on it. So it seems that the process is easy, and it can be easily done by the exporters themselves, because all the e-BRCs which have been generated on this till date, we did not receive any request for any kind of assistance. So I'm very happy. My team is here, and if there's any issue, any clarification is required, they will be here to tell you more about this. But I'm just to tell you that this is an initiative in the direction of empowering the exporters, and such efforts will continue as far as DGFT is concerned. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your address. I would like to share that we have over 500 participants who have joined us through Zoom meeting as well as YouTube Live. Now I request Shri Mohammad Moin Afaq ji, who is Deputy DGFT, for his presentation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Before we move on to the presentation, I'd like to attend to some of the points that were raised by Ajay Sahai sir, and some important suggestions have come through in respect of uniform formulas for the FOB value for the exports being mentioned. That we will examine and pursue. I request FIEO to also send a formal communication in this regard. On the point of EDPMS and the multiplicity of various systems for accounting of export realizations, I am happy to submit that RBI has constituted a committee wherein DGFT is also a member, wherein this specific agenda point would be examined, and we hope to bring it to some kind of fructification where we can work through a common system, and which will be a state of the art, which will use the concept and we are implementing in eBRC system. So this will touch not just the EDPMS system but also the Softex system as being implemented under the RBI regulations. And FETRS as a system would probably continue, because FETRS is for the purpose of IMF balance of payment compliance. This in the next 3 months, further developments in this regard would hopefully be communicated. Additionally, I'd also like to mention that not all shipping bills are flowing customs to DGFT currently. And so specific metadata is required to be entered for generating eBRC for those shipping bills, specifically free shipping bills, which are not flowing into the DGFT systems. Going forward, that issue would also get attended to. We are hopeful that the remaining shipping bills will also flow, so that that adds to the robustness of the system. And at the same time, because the eBRC system attends to deemed exports and to service export refunds, GST refunds in case of service exports, the GST network is also in discussion how we can leverage the entire system to have a more seamless process at both ends, subject to the concurrence of the concerned policy division under the Government of India. So this is just the points being stated is to give you the way forward, that this is one of the steps in the larger design process that we have the ambition to meet. So with that, I would hand over to Arjun Upadhyay, Deputy DGFT in the E-Governance and Trade Facilitation Division, for the specific presentation, wherein we will give you the outline as well as a small demo of how the process works. There would be, I'm sure there'll be questions in respect of third-party invoicing in cases of set-offs, in cases of where the AD bank remitting AD bank different from the one mentioned on the shipping bills, etc. So we'll attend to those questions after the initial demonstration, etc. Thank you very much.
Good morning, all.
Sure. Yes.
I hope the presentation is visible on the screen.
Yes, sir, your presentation is visible.
Great. So the way we are going to conduct this is we'll quickly run through the slides that we have, which will give the intent and implementation of the system, followed by a demonstration by the developer team on all the steps that an exporter have to take in order to successfully generate the eBRC by self-certification. So as you all know, eBRC stands for Electronic Bank Realization Certificate. You all have been taking it all these years. What we are changing here is the process and simplifying it, as Rivas mentioned. previously. So at the outset itself, we want to emphasize that the EDPMS and the eBRC systems are separate as on date. The EDPMS compliances will have to still be met by the exporters going forward. And the uses of eBRC are, of course, multifold. EDPMS, of course, serves for the final closure and the knockoff of the shipping bills. And that will still continue to happen in the process as it used to happen before. So you all are well advised to keep in touch with your banks for EDPMS compliance, which is necessary as per FEMA guidelines. However, the eBRC generation is what we are trying to simplify now. And as Moin sir said, the committee which has been constituted by RBI will in the future take up for further simplification by more integration of all systems concerned. So in the current process for generation of eBRC for merchandise exports, once the remittance comes in and the shipment is made, the exporter will approach the bank and submit all the physical documentation that is required. This is a particular pain point that has been by FIEO and also other EPCs and exporters themselves, that this is a painful part where they have to continuously submit physical documentation running into hundreds and hundreds of pages. And the banks have also pointed out before that this is onerous because as our exports are growing, the compliance requirements are also growing, and the staff strength in banks, of course, will not grow at the same rate. So once the exporter approaches the bank, the verification process is conducted by the bank for every single eBRC that is generated, and then it is uploaded onto the DGFT system where the exporter can finally use his or her eBRC. So this is the current process for merchandise exports. Next. For services exports, the process is similar, although there is an additional step wherein the FIRC is generated first, and then the process begins of submitting soft text or invoices with the UTR number EFIRC, and then the bank verifies everything and generates the eBRC. So this was continuously pointed out from a long time that there needs to be some kind of a rethink on how we deal with this. So next slide. So for banks, as we were discussing, it's a substantial burden. They have to update eBRC in batches. The bank, you all know, they have their core functions that they have to meet. And this was an additional function that they were meeting. And the main thing is, since each and every transactions need to be validated and checked before eBRC is generated, it was creating a huge burden on the bank side. For exporters, of course, you all know that it's a critical document, and delays in generation of eBRC has been a persistent problem that has been highlighted to us. And the bank, the branch, and the staff strength, the responsiveness of the staff, the generation of eBRC was fast or slow, and there were several problems that were highlighted. So next. Yeah. For services exports, there is an additional dimension that for the policymakers also it was a challenge, because we don't have very good granular data on services exports. Because in merchandise export, everything moves through a channel which is well defined since ages, and all the customs documents are generated. For services, it is much more intangible, and this results in lack of data capture as we go. And if you want to do any forceful data capture by forcing exporters, that would just be detrimental to our services exports growth. So there were a multiplicity of systems, there still is, and going forward, we are going to try and simplify this further. The other main issue with the services exports was that the codes that are used are also not harmonized, unlike the merchandise export system. As you can see on screen, various systems use different codes. So what we have tried to do in this particular revamp of eBRC is to bring some kind of harmonization on the services side also, which you will see in the follow-up slides next. So the major changes are firstly on the philosophical level. We have moved to a trust-based system where we trust the exporter that they will do the right thing. They will self-certify and generate the proof of their remittance. Second, and I would say a game changer for the MSMEs in this limited sphere is that it's a cost-free process going forward. We were getting regular issues from e-commerce exporters and small exporters that they have a high number of low-value transactions, and eBRC generation for each and every one of them was proving to be a significant cost burden. So this is alleviated by making it a cost-free process. We also had a system where there was an application to be submitted, documents to be submitted, verification. We have moved away from that to a paperless mechanism, which will be evaluated based on a risk management system post-audit, which will be done by the banks. Each bank were asked to define their own cutoff dates to onboard with this system, but as the utility is great for the banks also, and it reduces their burden a lot. As Agarwal sir mentioned, most of the banks are already on board, and shortly we will complete the process and every bank will be with us. So what will change is once the bank is onboarded with us after the cutoff date, the IRMs that are received that day forward will not flow through the old process. The eBRC will not be generated by the banks, but the exporters, that is you, will go onto the portal and generate it yourself. We will show you the flow and also a demonstration going forward. We have implemented a set of business rules to govern this whole generation. So far, our feedback has been that the business rules make sense, but we would like to get more feedback on this. We just want to draw your attention that there was a trade notice on 10th November issued by DGFT. If you can go through this, it will give you all the details. Of course, we are going to conduct more outreaches to keep you updated. Next. So the revamped flow is as on the screen. At the very top, you see that the buyer remits the export proceeds. That in turn reflects in the bank and an IRM is generated. The bank is expected to seed that IRM with the PAN number of the exporter and then transmit it to the DGFT system. Once it lands in a system, the control is completely with the exporter. You can log in with your existing logins. You all have IECs already. So once you log into your dashboard, you will navigate to see your IRMs, and you can see all the pending IRMs for which you can generate eBRCs. You tag it with the shipping bill if it is already available in your repository. Sir mentioned, we don't get all the shipping bills as on date from customs, only the ones which have any incentive or scheme endorsement is transmitted to us. But we are in talks with customs at a very advanced stage to get all the shipping bills. So going forward, every single shipping bill that pertains to your IEC will be available in the repository, and you can tag it with the particular IRM through which the remittance is reflected, and you can proceed forward to self-generating your eBRC. So this is the system, and whenever you don't find your shipping bill, and if it was a free shipping bill, that will not come to the repository just as yet. For that particular case only, you will need to enter some metadata of your shipping bill details before generating your eBRC. So this is the same process for deemed exports also. You will enter some metadata and then proceed forward to generating your eBRC. Next. So the major benefits are of course very apparent. Compliance both on the exporters end. It opens new avenue for exports because once you start proving your remittance in various forums, this makes it much easier to conduct your transactions. Massive workload reduction for banks and more focused checks for banks. They can use an RMS system, do sample checks, and only target those errant exporters and not burden all the genuine exporters who are there. And of course, on our side, it will aid us in making because we'll have very granular data, especially on services exports, because of this system, which we will use to serve you all better with better policies and interventions. Next. So this is a view of the DGFT website. If you see on the blue ribbon on the top, there is a services button. If you go there, you will find eBRC. Once you click, this is the view, and this is a single screen where you will find everything related to eBRC. Because we are aware that there are many exporters who don't use some of the other functions, don't take advance authorization or EPCG, but still need the eBRC. So we don't burden them in going to different screens for different things. Here you can see the repository where all the IRM that your banks have pushed will be visible on the first tile. On the second tile, you will go and complete the linking of your shipping documents with the IRM to generate eBRC. The third tile is where you will view all the eBRCs that you have generated so far. And if required, you will also cancel it on your own if there was a mistake. We will show what are the rules for that going forward. The next one is the IRM utilization report. You can see how many IRMs you have already utilized, generate eBRCs, and how many are remaining. And you can target those to generate your eBRCs. Through any eBRCs will help you to simply enter the eBRC number or various parameters to check. It acts as a repository. And finally, there is a help manual, which is very detailed and very useful for the exporters. So you should start with reading the help manual that you see. At the bottom, you have three tiles. The first one is the generation rules. These are the business rules. I'll show this in the next slide. Thereafter is the purpose code to SSE code mapping. This is in particular useful for the services exporters. We have mapped the RBI purpose codes to the corresponding SSE codes, which is used in GST invoices, so that we have a structured way of generating the eBRCs. This is the PC to SSE mapping. On this particular thing, we welcome feedback. If there are services exporters that are joined today, you can go through, and if your use case is not meeting it, you can send us an email. We will show you the contact details also going forward in the slide. The last one is the bank's onboarding cutoff dates. You can check whether your particular bank has already come on board in the new system or it is still pending to come in. However, only 3 banks are pending to be onboarded as on date. Those banks are State Bank of India.
3 banks.
Which is the other one?
Karur
Vaishya Bank and
PSB Bank.
PNB
Bank.
PNB, Punjab National Bank. These are the only 3 banks which are yet to be done. But we are very close to onboarding them also. It is Punjab and Sindh Bank. I'm sorry, I need to correct.
So PNB also.
And PNB also. Right. Okay. Next slide, please. So these are the general rules and guidelines. You should go through them very carefully. I will briefly take you through them. You can, basically it's a multi-to-multi system. You can club multiple IRMs, tag one shipping bill and generate an eBRC. If you have received remittance in parts, you club them all together to one shipping bill and generate it. Or else if you want to split an IRM, you have received a clubbed remittance for many shipping bills, separate eBRCs for them, you can do the same. Similarly, you can attach more than one shipping to one single IRM. So simply put, it is a multi-to-multi system with full flexibility to the exporter. You can use it as long as it meets the other rules. So IRM of the same bank name and bank account number can only be clubbed. We have received some feedback on AD bank transfer. One AD bank receives it. We are still in the process of examining and making our rules for that. So we'll come back in for the limited use case in the future. However, for now, IRM of the same bank name and bank account number can only be clubbed. IRM of same currency only can be clubbed. So, and of course, it is implicit that you can always generate separate eBRCs if you have remittances in separate currencies. So you don't necessarily have to generate one shipping bill, one eBRC. If you have multiple currency realization for same shipping bill, please generate different eBRCs and submit them wherever you have to submit them. One shipping bill can be utilized for 2 or more BRCs of different banks. This is also allowed. User cannot generate eBRC for 101 and 108. These are some of the purpose code used by the banks for their reporting. This will not be available. However, it will not affect any exporter because none of their remittances are affected by this. 103, this is an important purpose code. This is for advance remittances. So for this can be clubbed with any other purpose code. However, all the other purpose codes can't be clubbed with each other. Only the advance remittance purpose code can be clubbed with any other purpose code. So this is a flexibility that has been given, but there is a rider for any advance payment. By itself, it means that the remittance has come before the shipment has happened. So the shipping bill date necessarily needs to be after this particular remittance has come. That is the simple check that we have kept. The advance remittance, if you have received completely, or if you want to generate separate eBRC, you can use it standalone also to generate eBRC. It can also be clubbed for services. Technically, this was supposed to be only for merchandise exports. However, there is no separate advance payment purpose code for service exports. And well cognizant of this and not going too much into fine print, we have allowed this for services exports also, because this is a existing practice that has been followed for many years now. So even services exporters can receive advance payment reported under P0103 and generate eBRCs after tagging their invoice details with the eBRCs. P103, as I told, it can always be clubbed with anything. Then no two purpose codes other than this will be allowed to be. This is also covered. For services which is of IT services, there are only 3 purpose codes which RBI has given, which is P0802, 0803, and 0807. These are the only 3 things under which IT services will be reported. And of course, it can be clubbed with 0103, which is the advance remittance purpose code. And the last ones, the SSC codes purpose code mapping will have to be met. As I explained earlier, we have made a mapping of this as per our experience and understanding. We welcome feedback on this. Next slide. So this ends my presentation. There are various support channels available for you for whatever help that you need. We have a toll-free help desk support number on the screen for you. But we always suggest that you should use the service desk ticket raising for better response, because you can upload some screenshots, some documents, explain the problem that you are facing properly via a service desk ticket. You can go to DGFT website services and DGFT help desk service from that, and then raise a service ticket. And our team will also get in touch with you. If required, they will do a web very serious with you and they will help you out in whatever help that you require. And for any feedback on the rules and on the service code, SSC code mapping that we have done, please write to this particular email ID that we have shown, which is ebrc-dgft@gov.in. This is only for feedback on the rules and SSC PC code mapping. You will use the service desk for any operational issues. So this is important. Yeah, and of course, the EPCs, FIEO in particular, we encourage Ajay Sahai sir, if there are any hiccups that our exporters are facing, please flag it off to us. We are available always, and we will implement the changes as soon as we can. So with this, I will just, sir, Ajay Sahai sir, if you have any quick feedback before the demonstration.
No, thank you. Thank you, Ajay. I think it's Arjun, it's a very good system which you people have rolled in. I'm pretty sure this will make the life simpler and easier for the export sector. Only on one issue, because you are saying that in case of the advance payment, shipment date has to be after the date of advance. There may be for electronic sector, there may be situation where they may be the same day. Exporter may receive the advance payment in the morning, he airlift by the evening. So my request is that if instead of having the after the shipping date has to be after, if the two can synchronize also, that's my only suggestion.
Yes, sir. We have done that. I think I missed that out.
Okay,
It will be same date
Fine.
or after that.
absolutely fine, absolutely fine. Thank you. I think there are a lot of exporters who would like to raise the question. They will be actually practicing it.
Yes, thank you, sir. Now we will move on to our demonstration. Rohit, please take over, share your screen, and do a demonstration of the generation. Rohit, we can see your screen and we can hear you also. So you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, sir. Okay. So to access the eBRC module, the exporter has to log into their account and go to the services. In the services drop down, there is in the bottom there is a module called eBRC. Select that. So all these styles will be shown, which Arjun sir has already explained the function of these styles. In IRM ORM repository, the so just one sec. Just a sec.
Take it down and then.
We were just showing from the test environment, so there appears to be an issue with that. So we'll just quickly come back. We'll use the downtime to just, I think, take some questions on the
Sure.
presentation which they have. By then, they can get the thing ready.
I request the participants to please use raise the hand button option. It is available at reactions tab on the bottom of the screen. then I can unmute you. Okay, we have a question from Mr. Rahul. Sir, I'm unmuting you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. My question to sir is that so last year I had done a export wherein I received advance from my European client, Austrian client, through PayPal. The payment came through PayPal, and he sent money in euros, but PayPal converted it into US dollars and then remitted it to me. So because of that, what happened is the PayPal issued the FIRC, means the PayPal's bank, that is Citibank, they issued FIRC in US dollar, but I generated the invoice in euros. Now what has happened is my AD bank, HDFC, said that we cannot match that this thing, invoice, shipping bill, and FIRC, and cannot generate the eBRC. So you should bring the changed FIRC in euros currency. So I want to know what is the correct process, and sometimes what happens is like Citibank took a lot of time to for the changing of the FIRC.
Right, but finally, Citibank, did they change the FIRC? Were you able to get the one in euros from them?
No, sir, they did not change. Sorry, they did not change it.
Okay, right. We have not evaluated this particular use case as of now. In the currency of the FIRC or the whatever is there in the IRM, basically, to that in the shipping bill. But we have noted down this case now, and we will discuss it with the banks as to how they handle this and what should be the rules to govern this. Should we allow any conversion, and what date should we use, and all these things. So this is a particular use case. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We have not considered this, so we will evaluate this and then publish the rules for this particular use case.
Sure. Thank you, sir. One more question. Last, from which year's shipping bills this system will be like ready for self-certification? Like from which year shipping bills?
This is only after the cutoff date, which was 31st January. So 31st January of this year. So whatever remittance has come after that, from 1st February, you can say.
You can also
So that is only that is only applicable in the new system. For all the pending eBRCs for past exports, that will be through the old system. You will still approach for that, and you will get the eBRC from them.
for advanced cases.
Mr. Jignesh, please unmute yourself.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Good morning, everyone. There is one question from my side. Recently, we have been doing an exports to the Nepal, and we are facing an issue like that. If you are aware about that, there is a free shipping bill filing in the Nepal exports. So we were not able to mention, like agent over there were not able to mention the AD codes in the shipping bill, and they are filing as a free shipping bill. So the same shipping bill has not been seen in the ADPMS systems or free trade portals. So how should we close the same?
So let me just reiterate that our system right now, EDPMS is out of our remit. It is not implemented by us and not governed by us. So EDPMS queries will have to be directed to your bank. And just for the benefit of everyone, I'll repeat that your EDPMS closure will be separate currently, and that will be as per the existing process. So you will still have to go through that. So this particular EDPMS query I will not be able to answer right now. We are ready to go ahead with the demo. So we'll in the next 10 minutes finish the demo, maybe that will answer some of the questions that you are facing. Then we'll come back to taking more questions. So I request Rohit to please proceed.
Okay, sorry for the disconnection. So to search the IRM and ORM, the exporter can direct to this tile IRM ORM repository. In this, there are some filters by which the bank's exporter can search the IRMs based on the bank name, IRM number, remitter country, remittance name, and IRM status. For now, just start the search with the remittance date. So here all the IRM of this particular IC are showing in this repository. So in this we can see this IRM number, IRM issue date, IC firm name, purpose code of the IRM, the currency, the amount of the IRM, the amount matched with eBRC. In this field, if for say I have already generated an eBRC for this particular IRM, the amount will be shown here. We can use the partial amount also, or we can use this whole amount. Similarly, if there is an ORM corresponding to this IRM, then that amount will be shown here. And after calculating all the amount, the remaining balance will be shown here, for which we can make eBRC for the next time. The remittance GD code is shown here, the PAN number, transaction ID, and the remitter name also. So this is the IRM repository. Same is for the ORM, and the filters just change, the remittance date is changed, IRM number and ORM status is shown here. And for this particular IC, there are no ORM. So we'll just move ahead with the generation of eBRC. Okay, to generate eBRC, the exporter can direct to this tile. The exporter can make drafts for the eBRC or can proceed with the fresh application each time. Okay, so this is the first page which shown to generate the eBRC. In this, we add all the IRMs and to generate the eBRC. So first field is payment received from third party. If the payment is received from third party, the exporter can select yes or no. And this is the payment realized in Vostro or special rupee account. For this SRV account, only IRM amount which were realized in INR will only be added in this field. Otherwise, the validation will restrict the exporter to move ahead. So then the exporter can select the types of eBRC. There are three types: goods, deemed export, and services. In services, there are further two more types: IT and non-IT. Based on the purpose code, the exporter needs to select the correct eBRC type. Otherwise, the exporter will not be able to move ahead. So I have some eBRCs of services non-IT, which I will be using to generate eBRC. So exporter just need to add the RN number here, and all the metadata will be auto-populated here. The purpose code, bank name, currency, the remittance amount. So the available amount here is 893 US dollars. So I can either use this whole amount or I can use a partial amount also. So the balance amount is remaining is shown in this field. So for the next time, I can use this 300 amount also to generate another eBRC. So for now, I just add 500 rupees and use another IRM to generate the eBRC. For this other iron, the eBRC amount is 600. I'll just use 200 amount, and the balance is also shown here. Okay, then after adding this whole process is similar for goods also and deemed export. The only selection of type of eBRC is based on the purpose code. Okay, so then after adding the eBRC, the total sum 500 plus 200 is shown as 700, and the currency is shown USD. I can add I can only club the items of the same bank and same currency only, and of the same purpose code. Then click on save and next. The exporter enter the shipping bill or invoice details here. Invoice number or shipping bill date, currency, amount. The exporter can add discount value, commission value also if there is any. So when I enter the discount value, the net amount is changed from 700 to 500. 200 amount is deducted from the overall amount. Then I can enter the country. Then based on the purpose code, the SEC code which is mapped to the 1216 purpose code, the SEC code shown is here. So I can add here also. For 216, there is only one SEC code mapped here. So if there are multiple SEC code, that will also show in this drop down. So select this and add. The exporter can, after adding all the details, can review their eBRC. What kind of eBRC will be shown here? So shipping bill, port, IDBI, bank name, address, IC will also shown. So this is only a preview copy, not the original eBRC print certificate. So after adding all the details, the exporter just go to save and next and read the declaration. Take the checkbox, digitally sign the eBRC, and then click on generate eBRC. So the eBRC is generated. Here is the eBRC number.
So I'll just cut in here. Quick clarification, the signing, there are two methods. You can either sign from digital signature or by Aadhaar authentication. So both methods are available. You can sign in either way. And one more, taking a step back, the way we see it is that there will be several IRMs that are received for each of the IECs. So when they go to the IRM repository, in the first step, what Rohit showed, we have a functionality so that you can download all the unused IRMs that is there into Excel. So once you download them, you can then do all the operations, as in how many IRMs you want to club, which you want to split, and all these things you will do it. You will get ready with the data and then come back to generate eBRC. However, we also have a bulk upload, bulk download, all these kind of features. In the future, we'll also have an API-driven system where you can integrate to external applications to generate eBRC.
By end of this financial year, like in a month from now, we'll also provide APIs through the auth mechanism so that your SAP systems can talk to the eBRC system directly through an authentication mechanism, so that larger firms with hundreds or thousands of invoices don't have to do a point-to-point reconciliation. That we'll make available for testing very shortly, and then once based on feedback, we will make it live. Because already there'll be some kind of accounting system at the end of the exporter, so that accounting system can then directly engage with the eBRC system to avoid any mistakes as such, clerical mistakes. This you can do it through your specific systems, or you can do it through third party, because we'll also make it available for any third party to develop processes, similar to the GST party process. Yeah, please continue.
So the eBRC is generated here, and we can view the eBRC also by clicking on action. That what are the items which we added. Click on print. Here you can see the item which we added here. All the metadata which was captured in the eBRC while generating the eBRC. This is the eBRC, final eBRC, which will be shown after generating the eBRC number. We can see the eBRC number. We can see the QR code, which banks or other organization can validate through DGFT website. And the source is also shown here, whether the eBRC was generated by the exporter or bank. This also can be downloaded from the eBRC repository. For to access that, click on My Dashboard, go to Repositories, Build Repositories, select the bank realization, select the eBRC number and date, click on search. So you can see here the eBRC number is shown. This is the eBRC number which is just created. We can click on here, print eBRC. eBRC is shown here. Okay, and now cancel also. To cancel the eBRC, we can click on this cancel eBRC initiate button. This will be available until and when if the eBRC is not utilized. As soon as the eBRC is utilized in an application, this initiate button will get disabled and exporter will not be able to cancel the eBRC. The cancellation process is also very simple. It is a just two-step process. Click on the initiate button. Do you want to proceed with the cancellation of eBRC? Yes. All the metadata will be shown here. Enter the remarks for the cancellation, reason for the cancellation, and digitally sign, and then click on cancel eBRC. The eBRC is cancelled successfully. So this is the process for generation and cancellation of eBRC.
Regarding cancellation, I just want to add that the window for cancellation is 30 days from the date of generation. This, what we have done is, we think that is a reasonable amount of time to realize any unintentional mistakes and go back and cancel your eBRC. However, if you have utilized it for any of the FTP schemes on the portal, if you have attached it with any applications for redemption, etc., then you will not be able to initiate that. You will have to detach it from that application first, and then only once it is released, you will be able to cancel it, provided it is within the 30 days. For cancellation beyond that, you will have to approach your banks and provide due information on how you are cancelling it, and they will initiate it from their side. So these are the cancellation rules. However, this also has a trust-based component that within 30 days, any clerical errors, genuine errors that happen, you can quickly correct without being hassled by approaching various authorities. Right. So Rohit, you can continue.
So what I'm showing is that after generating an eBRC for particular IRM, the balance amount gets updated. So as you can see that the IRM amount was $893. So for this IRM, I generated an eBRC of 500 rupees. So the amount which matched with the eBRC is showing here 500, and the balance amount is showing here. So if I want to generate an eBRC for this IRM, I can use this much amount only now. As soon as I cancel the eBRC of that $500, this 500 gets updated and will be shown as 0, and the balance amount will also get updated. So this is the view IRM utilization report. In this, the exporter can see uh, based on the filters, they can search the IRM and eBRC from which.
Rohit, I think this is quite intuitive. They can explore it on their own. We'll quickly show them the what do you say, where the help manual is and the cutoff for banks, etc. And then we will move on to questions.
Sure. So the cutoff date, the bank cutoff date will be shown in this child, bank onboarding cutoff dates. The exporter can click on this and see which all banks are live and which bank are in the process of going live.
So I think there was a question earlier as to from when onwards the new system is applicable. This is the cutoff date. It depends on your bank. Whichever the cutoff date that they have declared for themselves, all remittances received on or after that date will be dealt with in the new self-certification system. For all remittances received before that, you will still approach them and they will give you the eBRC via the old process. So you may please refer here. Please continue, Rohit.
Okay, and for the help manual, the exporter can also navigate to eBRC, click on the help manual for exporters. At the bottom, there is the eBRC new module. Exporter can, for self-generation certificate, click on this. The help manual will be available for the exporter to generate the eBRC, with all the general guidelines, business rules, and function of all the tiles are mentioned in this manual only. Arjun sir, I'm done with the demo.
Okay, right. Thank you, Rohit. Now we will step back once into questions.
Arjun,
Madam, if you can please. Yes, sir.
Arjun, I have a couple of questions. I think you have clarified that for the eBRC purpose, it's the IRM which will be the cutoff, and cutoff of each bank is little different. So that means irrespective of the date of shipping bill, even if 2 years old shipping bill is now being realized, it will come through the new system only. Am I correct on that? If my bank is
Yes, sir.
already in the system now.
Yes, sir. Beyond the cutoff date, any remittance that comes in, irrespective of the shipping bill date.
Okay, so that means cutoff for you is the IRM date and then the bank onboarding. There are two principles only. Secondly,
yes,
my understanding in the current system, I'm not talking about the new system, some of the bank has developed a module where whenever they are generating the eBRC, automatically the EDPM is being updated, it is striked off. Now in this system, you are integrating in any way with the bank, or after, let us say, I'm self-generating the eBRC, how I have to get integrated into the bank system so that my EDPMS is also a strike off?
Yes, sir. So the banks are working at their end to come up with systems so that there is no assets.
Yeah.
So in the long term, we see that as a very seamless process.
Okay.
That is why this need for consultation with RBI is come up because RBI would also seek FEMA compliances from the eBRC system, such as third-party exports, different AD banks, etc. So, sir, hopefully, sir, the picture will. I mean, right now it is fuzzy in the sense that it's not very seamless, but a couple of months down the line, it will be a much lesser compliance burden on both the systems.
Okay.
No, right now, sir, it remains separate. Basically, the banks for system, we have not integrated with it.
In certain sense, you have made the life easier because exporter up to the generation of the eBRC can do its own. But post that, probably in certain scenario where both were getting a strike off simultaneously, for that he has to wait for some more months. That is what I could understand from you.
Even as on date, the banks can download the eBRC generated against the IRMs and push it into their system.
Yeah.
So the earlier system will continue to work with this kind of.
Okay.
Okay. But we wanted to move more seamless, sir. We wanted to be very without intervention throughout the process to all the way to EDPMS.
Okay. Thank you.
So that is why, yes.
So can we please proceed to Q&A now?
Yeah, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. BP Saxena, please unmute yourself.
Hi, good afternoon. Mohit Jain this side from Jubilant. I have two questions. First is, in case of eFIRC, we have shipping bill of another bank and we have issued eFIRC from another bank. So will be the same procedure we will follow in that case?
Yeah, so basically, there'll be one of the banks would be generating an IRM. So whichever bank generate the IRM, you can generate your eBRC against that. We'll also have a check in the system wherein both the banks cannot generate IRM against the same remittance.
Okay. And in the second question is, if we have another ED bank name on the shipping bill, but we have submitted the document to another ED. So the IRM generated by another ED bank. So in normal scenario, the other bank where we have deposited the bill, they go for AD transfer request. And then after the AD is transferred, they lodge the bill and do the issuance of eBRC. But in this scenario, new scenario, if the AD transfer is not done by bank, can we still issue the eBRC, or first we have to transfer the AD and then we can issue the eBRC?
There are two parts. So as far as EDPMS is concerned, it is required. All those whatever processes you're following would have to be followed till RBI provides some kind of other guidance. The IRM is generated by the account credited bank. So that will allow you to generate the eBRC. So but the larger point is that EDPMS compliance stays. It's not been waived off. So those processes will continue. Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Mohita, please unmute yourself.
Hi, is it audible to you?
Yes.
Sir, I have a question. If we get part payment for the invoice, which had this dispatch or shipment for 21 days and got only part payment, so shall we issue the BRC on part payment basis or have to wait for full payment?
The part payment is allowed, madam. Like it's a many-to-many system. One shipping bill can have multiple IRMs and one IRM can have multiple shipping bills. So like you can generate a eBRC against a part payment received against an IRM, or on the other side, on the other end of the spectrum, one IRM can account for more than one consignment also.
Okay.
You can split your IRM into many, or you can club IRM Put your shipping bills into many IRMs, everything is allowed. It's as per your business needs, you can do it.
Okay, and ORM is also available. We can knock off bill of entries against this also, or we can shows how bill of entries are pending. We have.
Madam, this system is not for the purpose of imports. We are currently focused only on the export leg. So bill of entry doesn't come into the picture. Only the
Okay,
ORMs wherein some of the money has been remitted back because of some rejection, etc. Those ORMs will be attended to.
okay. And last question I have, sir. We have got some payments in Axis Bank. Against them, we are issued FIRCs, and Bank of India cleared the BRCs also. But still, IRM is pending in Axis Bank portal. How can this resolve for that?
This is, I think, this is a eBRC revamp. In fact, it is an EDPMS issue. It is not a eBRC issue. So we do not have anything to say on that. Your banks only will be addressing this. So once again, we are making it very clear. There is no knockoff in our dictionary as far as eBRC is concerned, because that is for EDPMS and that is separate. So this is only as proof of remittance that you have to submit for to get FTP benefits and for your GST compliances. EDPMS, FEMA compliance is separate as on date, and you will do that for both imports and exports independently with your banks. Right. Next, please.
Mr. Kumar Vijayaraj, please unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
please.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Like for one of the shipment, actually, we have received a payment in August, and the rest of the payment received in February, and we have dispatched the goods. Actually, this case I need to generate a two eBRC, or how do I do this?
As many BRCs as you wish.
No, sir. Like
We are not
you
telling
said, like
you don't have to wait till complete payment or anything like that. eBRC by definition can cater to whatever remittance has come in.
no, sir.
So
You
there
said
is
like yeah, from January onwards only, like we will be having the new system. So the partial payment received in before that, and balance payment received in after January. So this case I'm talking about.
So there will be two sets of BRCs, one generated by the bank for your payments received earlier, and one that you the latest ones.
So for the remittance received before cutoff date, IRM, which is before cutoff date, you will use the old process, approach your banks and generate eBRC for that amount. And for IRM after cutoff date, you can log into DGFT and self-certify and generate on your own. So put together, it will complete your complete transaction.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Steelman, please unmute yourself. Steelman. Mr. Sanyal.
Hello.
Okay, Steelman is here. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, as you told that the new self-certification system is going to start from 1st February. So, as our bank is not live, Canara Bank, so we should have to wait until bank come live for the system, or bank will continue to generate the eBRC as per the old system.
Yeah. Bank will continue to generate the eBRC because they have not yet onboarded. So,
okay.
Or if they are under pressure, we are not telling them that we expected them to onboard by 1st of February. So we've given some more time. Either the bank will retrospectively push all the IRMs, which will be very tardy. So I think banks will continue to generate the eBRC.
So until the bank declares their cutoff date, till that date, they will generate it in the old process you approve for generation.
But between us, you should put pressure on Canara Bank because all the other banks are there. Unless you are more comfortable with the earlier arrangement.
Mr. Sanyal, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, there are basically two questions that I have. We are basically into e-commerce and we are selling the goods from here to Amazon.com and other Amazon websites in different countries. The problem that we are facing is one, for example, a transaction is say of $100. So we are considering $100 as the transaction value on the shipping bill. whereby we are receiving the funds at like after deducting all the Amazon commission and advertisement costs, say $70. So there is a gap always for each transaction. So how to first of all match this gap, because this is going to be pertinent for all the transactions because we are selling it through Amazon. There is no B2B transaction happening over here. Second question is we are not receiving the funds from Amazon in USD or any other, like it is coming in the INR format only. So there is no IRM as such created in the bank account. Like it is like all the Amazon transactions that we are having, they are all coming. There is one NEFT number which is there, and Amazon is like directly crediting in the INR format. So there is no IRM as such is in our bank account. So how do we deal with this while closing the eBRC system?
Whatever is remitted into your bank, the IRM will be generated for that specific amount. The e-commerce platform charges would already be netted off. Now, this actually stems from a larger issue that the write-offs in case of e-commerce exports are higher than the 5 or 10% which is allowed in a normal shipment.
Yeah.
So this issue is more of a FEMA issue wherein the write-off limits are not fitting into the e-commerce business model. So one purpose of eBRC system is to measure what is the appropriate write-off levels that we should be seeking. Based on this, say some data of a couple of months, we'll go back to RBI and request for relaxation, particularly for courier and postal shipping bills.
Yeah. So like,
so that would actually address your issue. It's not a procedure; it's more of a policy issue. I hope you are with me on this point.
I just wanted to know, can a $100 shipment be we can close it for $70 remitted thing? Will that be allowed? Because the other $30 is Amazon charges and all such things. So how?
Yes.
That will be
See, as far as eBRC generation is concerned, as far as eBRC generation is concerned, you can generate it for whatever the IRM amount is. But as Mohin sir just explained, whether that is compliant with FEMA and whether you can knock it off finally on EDPMS is a different issue. That is governed by.
Let me just explain that you got 5% write-off on $100, so basically 95. Banks have the additional flexibility of giving you 10% write-off. 80 banks, so 15%. If you are a status holder, you get another 10%, which is accumulative. Given that you are a status holder, you can go up to 25%. So $70 does not cut it. $70 is short of the FEMA compliance. Right, but this works. This used to work in case of containerized and pallet exports in a traditional sense. E-commerce, it is a learned experience that the write-offs are higher. So the short answer is no, you cannot have $70. You'll have problems on. The long-term solution is to measure what are the actual write-offs happening, and then with that empirical data, go back to RBI and convince them that for these shipments through Amazon and other e-commerce platforms, please waive this limit.
Mr. Sanyal, in fact, Mohin has amplified that. As of now, banks have been told that reduction in invoice value up to 25% may be regularized, but not beyond that. For the shipment which are being made to the warehouse, we have proposed to the RBI that these may be treated as a kind of consignment sale, where whatever value has been declared, that's just a notional value, whatever is realized is the final value. We are pursuing with that. RBI still is discussing with some of the major e-commerce players also, and probably they will be taking a view. Till that happens, what Mr. Mohin has suggested, that if that fits into your waiver kind of relaxation, you can look into that.
Okay. And about the transaction, which I told that the IRM is not created by its own, like to get it to the bank and tell them that these are the foreign remittances that is happening. So that is not created by its own, because the funds are coming in the NEFT format by some Citibank in India, from Amazon or something like that. So still for eBRC, we have to first convert those values into IRM and then get it. We can get the eBRC thing done.
Yes. Again, The problem is understood. Yes, you'll have to do that. You'll have to get an IRM generated for the payments which have happened through one domestic account to one other domestic accounts. Again, some larger e-commerce sellers open a subsidiary in a foreign country just for this kind of a compliance. They receive money, ship to that, and then receive that. All that is very tardy. So yes, if the bank gives you the IRM, you can generate that BRC. But again, why we have implemented the system is to measure certain things. One of the issues that you mentioned is we'll need to measure it, and then based on this learning of a couple of months, we'll go back to RBI. That is our commitment to the exporters at large. So the point being that you start using the system. Let us know how much is the shortfall, which are the cases which are falling into those tax policy wise, and then we'll give you a solution to this, hopefully.
We have a query from Kotak Bank. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I have two queries. When will the APIs be available for the banks to integrate with this portal?
The IRM is flowing through the APIs. You mean the output of the eBRC data, etc. That we are working on still, hopefully in another month or so. Till then, of course, the bulk load and upload is available. You can use that.
Banks go to API. We've given the APIs for you to push the IRMs to us, download the reports from us. The APIs that I was talking about is for the third party, at the exporter's end. For the exporter to engage with the eBRC system rather than doing it on a case-to-case basis.
Okay, fair enough.
You just check with your technical team.
I will surely check it. Next question is, while the customer will select the country of service, what happens if a customer selects a FATF country? So the ownership of the bill lies with whom? With the bank or with the customer?
Very good question. In fact, this is one of the motivations of implementing the eBRC system. We want to keep you at an arm's length. Right now, that's happening to CIS countries where there is a sanctioned bank involved. The money is coming in. Now, you are not in a position because you have presence across the border, so you can't really get into generating and facilitating that process. So the bank is expected to keep an arm's length that you just generated the IRM, the ownership of dealing with whatever the OFAC sanctions are. Rest with, that gives you that flexibility, that arm's length, that plausible deniability. Because why this is also helpful is that in cases where the entity is not sanctioned, the product is not sanctioned, eBRC is also not generated in the existing system. Even if the export is to Belarus and there's some kind of overlap with something which looks suspicious, the benefit of doubt is not being given to the exporter. So we want to pass it on to the exporter now. With the comfort of the bank that the ownership, to answer, the short answer is that it's the exporter who's responsible.
Sir, we have few more raised hands. If you may allow, can we take some more queries?
Yeah, another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If that's
Okay, thank you. Leader Pujari, please unmute yourself. Leeladhar Pujari.
Good afternoon, sir. We are doing business with Nepal. So sometimes what happens if it is a normal shipment, we are getting the amount in NEFT mode. In that case, how my banker can generate the IRM and how we can generate a eBRC?
So, see, for normal shipment, generate the eBRC. However, there are certain flags on the eBRC wherein we ask whether it's a special wash-through arrangement or a wash-through arrangement. Before I answer your question, you need to go through para 2.52 and 2.53 of the Foreign Trade Policy 2023, wherein we have allowed for specific arrangements wherein rupee trade is eligible for FTP benefits, including RODTEP, etc. So for Nepal, unless it happens through the Rashtriya Nepal Bank arrangement in FCC currency, they'll not be eligible for FTP benefits. Generating eBRC is one part of it, but claiming benefits is the second, the policy aspect. I hope I answered your question. On the eBRC, there are specific flags. Unless those flags are ticked, the eBRC will not be eligible. Currently, there is no special WASTO arrangement with Nepal or Bhutan. The policy para 2.52b allows for rupee realizations for export to Nepal. Only that specific portion of the realization is eligible for FTP benefits, including royalty.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. B. Dubey, please unmute yourself.
Hi, good afternoon to all. Thanks to FIEO and the DGFT, providing some valuable insights on the new.
So please be very concise with the queries. We have very
Yes,
few
I'm
minutes
coming to
left.
that. I'm coming to that, madam. Just a minute. In fact, I lodged an online complaint also with the DGFT just 2 days back only. When we are filing the shipping bill in INR, in the remittance in, of course, either in the foreign currency, either is in dollar or the euro. So while generating the eBRC on the new module, there is no INR option available in the drill down option.
If I can ask you, which is the country where the remittance is coming from?
It is from, from the Sweden also. We are doing the, Japan also. Actually, I'm from we are exporting to our collaborator. It is the Volvo. I'm from the VE Commercial. So from our engine, what engine we are exporting, then 100% shipping bills are filed in INR. And remittance in either euro or the dollar only. So while creating the, the BRC, eBRC on the new model for this INR shipping bill, we are unable, there is no option available of the INR.
So what is the benefit of filing the shipping bill in INR when the realization, I mean, just to learn?
We have some agreement with these customers, right? Which I can't disclose here in the open forum. That's why.
I understand you. Maybe it helps you hedge your exchange rate exposure. Or
Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. So just drop us a mail. This is your arrangement is very unique. So we'll try to attend.
I already lodged an online complaint. I shared communications going
drop
on
us,
with DGFT.
Yeah, drop us an email also on eBRC.
Okay, I will do that. I will do that. I will drop email.
Thank you. Well.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input.
Raj Exim, please unmute yourself. Sir, please be very concise with the query.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Please, ma'am, please go ahead.
Sir, our invoice value currency is USD, but buyer made the advance payment is USD and the balance payment made for euro currency. How it is possible for the eBRC generation, sir?
You can use the customs exchange rates to do the conversion and then generate your BRC that way. Anyways, I mean, you can change your currency of freely convertible currency denomination.
Earlier times, our banker accept and made the eBRC. In future, how we will make it, sir?
Yes, madam. So IRM is generated in rupee terms, so you know the rate of conversion and all. Now, you also, if you need to specify another foreign currency instead of dollar, you can change convert it equivalent basis. The reference exchange rate will always be the CBIC exchange rate.
It is acceptable for the future eBRC for shipping bill matching, acceptable for the system, sir, DGFT system?
Yes, for future only, right? After the cutoff.
Okay, sir. eBRC generation cutoff date, if any, sir?
Yeah, it is there on the website. If you go there, each bank has its own unique cutoff date. It's mentioned on the link under the eBRC tab. You navigate to DGFT website, services, eBRC, and bank cutoff dates. 3 clicks, you'll land there.
Okay, so we are taking a last query from Mr. Kunal Methi. Please unmute yourself.
Ma'am, we have some, good afternoon to all. I have some query, we have received a regular email from ADPMS team for outstanding shipping bill and IRM. After I could reconcile with bank, there is, I found difference between bank and ADPMS system as a report. So which I consider the correct one.
Like EDPMS comes with its own set of historical legacy issues, which we are trying to solve in consultation with RBI. But what we are presenting today doesn't have any direct linkage with EDPMS. For FEMA compliance, there are two acts in play. One is FEMA, one is the FTDR Act. As far as the FTDR Act is concerned, it is eBRC. As far as FEMA is concerned, it is the EDPMS system. As we discuss and move forward, we'll find some congruence in both the modalities.
Also, we have some shipping bills which is outstanding for 2019 and 20, which I submitted all the documents to the bank like BRC and issued BRC from DGFT and all the documents proof like IRM. But still, this shipping bills and the IRM is pending in EDPMS record.
I understand,
Now,
but that is something that you'll have to take up with the bank, with your bank. I mean, we don't have any direct role in this.
I will request that if you have that pending one, please share with us. We will try to work with the bank or with the IBA so that these entries are updated into the systems.
Thank you, sir.
I think we should close here.
Yeah, now I request Shri P.T. who is
Veda
Director
was-
of Policy, WTO and Bank.
Thank you, Mr. Moin, for it started sometime around December, our discussion, and then we have finally today come to this particular stage where we are in the process of issuing the eBRCs. There's only one particular query that I had during all this time. Sir, do we have the necessary bandwidth to generate the eBRCs live, since a lot of exporters I can foresee are going to go on live and issue their eBRCs? This is one part.
So, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. And secondly, of course, as far as exporters are concerned, we do regret the shortage of time. We would request you kindly send us emails directly as far as your queries are concerned. But I find some of your queries are quite repetitive. So please go through the site and then only send the email so that we can, or Mr. Moin and Mr. Arjun here, they can answer your queries directly and look into those particular issues, because they have gone into a lot of depth here. They've gone into FEMA, they have gone into the FTP policy 2023, and only after that they have come to this particular procedural aspect. So it will only be, fit if we look into that particular aspect. As far as the bandwidth, sir, you were saying?
Yes. Firstly, thank you, Mr. Srinath, for organizing this very timely outreach program. Bandwidth, as in, see, we've already generated a couple of hundred BRC. That is without DGFT intervention. Somebody came onto the website, exporter came onto the DGFT website, read through the manuals and started generating it. Right. So it's a system that is working. It's a fail-safe system. There's no performance issue, etc. All that tuning has been done, and we live and learn. So more based on the feedback, some unique circumstances keep coming up. We'll keep attending to that. Going forward, we'll have more outreach programs just to sensitize. The larger objective, our key KPI is that are we reducing compliance burden or adding to the pain of the exporter? So that's why the feedback is that based on your feedback, we'll try to simplify things wherever possible so that overall the larger compliance across the board should come down. And so that is why we don't want to work in silos. We want to have more and more engagements. We also have the help desk, etc., to attend to the issues. So please feel free to reach out to the help desk and follow the escalation mechanism. If you don't find solutions at the help desk, the officers. I'll also like to introduce Satya Rajsekhar, who is the Deputy Director General. So we've also built capacity at our end. Some very capable officers have now moved to e-governance division so that we can do justice to all the responsibilities that we have taken up. That's all from my end. If anybody else has to add.
No, that's it.
So maybe Srinathji, we can close the session for today.
Sir, I think Srinathji's internet has some issue.
Okay.
He's not a wonderful session. I'm sure many people have got the information which they were looking for. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.